You know that machine humming away in your basement or closet? It's kind of an unsung hero, just quietly keeping you comfortable day in and day out. But the second it breaks down, especially at the absolute worst moment, it becomes this complex, really stressful mystery. So, that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We are going to pull back the curtain and demystify your HVAC system so you can feel like you're in control. We've all felt that pit in our stomach, right? It's the middle of a heat wave, the hottest week of the year, and then nothing. Just silence. The cool air just stops flowing. I'm here to tell you that is not just bad luck. There's a very real reason this always seems to happen, and understanding why is the first step to making sure it doesn't happen to you.
Now, you might look at this quote and think, okay, that's one town in Missouri. But here's the thing, it tells a universal story. It doesn't matter if you're dealing with brutal humidity, scorching desert heat, or a deep freeze. Your local climate is waging a constant, invisible war on your HVAC system.
Seriously, think of it like a year-round battle. Every single heat wave, every cold snap, that's another skirmish. And all that wear and tear, it really adds up. That relentless strain is exactly why things break at the moments of peak stress, when you need it the most.
And that brings us to our first big idea here, the unseen battle. Your HVAC system isn't just a passive box sitting there. Nope, it is an active fighter in a constant struggle against the elements. And you know what? Understanding this fight is the absolute key to winning it. So here are the main enemies in that fight. You've got extreme heat and cold, which force the system to run nonstop. Then there's high humidity, which makes the AC work double time, because it's not just cooling the air, it's also drying it. And all the while, things like moisture and dust are physically attacking the components, causing rust and clogging things up. Each one just adds another layer of stress. Listen up, because your furnace or your AC isn't just making random noise. It's trying to talk to you. Those sounds are actually warning signs. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to translate two of the most common signals you're likely to hear. Have you ever noticed this? The heat kicks on, it runs for just a minute or two, then click, it shuts off. And then a few minutes later, it does the exact same thing over and over. That's called short cycling, and it is a classic sign of a system that's under some serious distress. So here's what's actually going on. I want you to think of it like your furnace is trying to breathe through a really thick cloth. There's restricted airflow, and honestly, it's often from something as simple as a dirty filter, which means the heat can't escape. So the internal temperature skyrockets. The system's safety switch, thankfully, does its job and shuts it down to prevent a fire. But the thermostat is still calling for heat, so the whole vicious cycle just repeats itself. All right, now for a classic summer problem. You might think that seeing ice on your air conditioner on a scorching hot day means it's working really well. But it is the exact opposite. It's a cry for help. That ice is building up on the indoor coils, and it's creating a total blockage. And this is where that climate factor comes right back into play. In a humid environment, there's a ton of moisture in the air. So when the airflow is restricted, again, maybe by a dirty filter, that moist air hits the super cold coils and it freezes instantly. This sets off a chain reaction, quickly turning your AC into a giant block of ice that can't cool anything at all. Okay, so we've talked about the problems, but here's the good news. You are not powerless in this fight. Not at all. In fact, you are your system's first and honestly most important line of defense, and some really simple actions can have a massive impact. This chart breaks it down perfectly. Let's be clear about your job versus a pro's job. Your role is all about observation and basic upkeep. Changing your air filters, that's non-negotiable. It is the #1 thing you can do. A clogged filter can actually increase your energy consumption by up to 15%. I mean, that's real money you're just throwing away every month. So you handle the basics and let the pros handle the technical stuff. So what happens when you've done your part, but something still goes wrong? Making that call for a repair can be pretty nerve-wracking, so let's just demystify what a professional, high-quality service call should actually look like. A good service process is really built on transparency. Step 1 is just clear communication. You know when help is coming. Step 2, this is the most critical part. A technician should find the issue, explain it to you in simple terms you can understand, and give you a firm, upfront price. And crucially, they don't start any work until you give them the green light. Finally, they fix it, and then, just as important, they test it to make sure the problem is actually solved before they leave.
All right, at some point, pretty much every homeowner faces the big one. The repair bill is huge, and you have to ask yourself that tough question. Is it worth fixing this old machine again? Or is it finally time for a new one?
This isn't just about this one repair cost. It's a bigger financial calculation. How old is your system? Is this its first big problem, or is this the third service call this year? A really common rule of thumb is that if the repair cost is getting close to 50% of what a whole new unit would cost, replacement is probably the smarter long-term investment. And hey, watch your energy bills. If they're creeping up year after year, that's your old system telling you it's losing the fight.
This number right here, this is your benchmark. In a place with demanding hot summers and cold winters, the average HVAC system has a lifespan of about 15 to 20 years. So if your unit is getting into that range, any major repair decision has to be made with this number in the back of your mind. So here's the crucial point of all this. Understanding the stress on your system, knowing how to decode its signals, and being aware of your options for maintenance and repair. It changes everything. You're no longer just sitting there waiting for a disaster to happen. You become an informed, empowered homeowner who can make smart decisions about the comfort and safety of your own home. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The next time you walk past your thermostat or you hear your system kick on in the other room, just listen a little closer. What is it telling you? Because now you actually know how to speak its language.